Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. I am Alicia Dayana.
My name is Mohammed bin Mohammed Azhar.
I'm Ayani Fatini binti Muhammad Faizul.
I'm Muhammad Urfahmi bin Zainal.
I am Nadirah binti Muhammad Zaki,
A Bachelor of Corporate Administration student.
I'm going to present on financial statement analysis for the company.
We chose Digi.com Berhad as our central company and Telekom Malaysia Berhad as their competitors in the telecommunications industry.
We will begin with the introduction of the company. Digi.com Berhad is listed on the Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad and is a subsidiary of Telenor Group, a multinational telecommunications operator. Digi.com Berhad is recognized for its mobile service activities carried out through its wholly owned subsidiary, Digi Telecommunications Sdn Berhad. Digi.com Berhad began operations in May 1995 when it introduced its digital GSM 18000 services, making it Malaysia's first digital mobile communication service. Digi's status as a prepaid service leader has set several industry milestones for simplicity and innovation. Furthermore, Digi has revitalized its postpaid services under Digi Postpaid and Digi Business to provide superior phone and mobile internet services to individuals and corporate users.
As for Telekom Malaysia, they also one of the Malaysia's leading telecommunications companies. TM also offers a comprehensive suite of communication services and solutions in fixed telephony and broadband, mobility, content, Wi-Fi, cloud, data center, cybersecurity, IoT, and smart services. As the facilitator of Digital Malaysia, TM has been at the forefront of the nation's telecommunication technology evolution and will continue to do so. It serves as a Malaysia's communication backbone and Asian digital hub with the most extensive convergent connectivity network and digital infrastructure. TM remains committed to serving an increasingly digital lifestyle and society, digital enterprise, and digital government, with the goal of making life and business easier for a better Malaysia.
Next, we move to the performance financial analysis of Telekom Berhad and Digi.com Berhad. Firstly, let's start with a liquidity ratios. Liquidity ratios is analyzed the ability to pay back the short-term obligations. There are two types of ratios, which are the current ratios and also the quick ratios. For the current ratios is a method that measures a company's ability to repay the short-term debt within a year. In 2021, it showed that Telekom Malaysia Berhad's ability to pay RM1 ringgit 40 cents of RM1 ringgit of its short-term liability. For the company Digi.com Berhad offered the ability to pay 49 cents of RM1 ringgit of its short-term liability. Based on the table above, it can be seen that in 2021, the Telekom Berhad has more ability to pay off its short-term liability within a year than Digi.com Berhad. There is a 65 cents difference between these two companies. The quick ratios evaluates whether a business has enough liquid assets to be converted into cash to pay its bill within a year. The quick ratios is relatable to liquid assets. Liquid assets are a form of calculation in which any assets can be quickly converted to cash. In 2021, it showed that Telekom Malaysia Berhad's ability to pay without relying on current illiquid assets is RM1 ringgit and 7 cents for RM1 ringgit of its short-term liability. Also, in 2021, Digi.com Berhad's depending on existing illiquid assets is RM1 ringgit and 10 cents for RM1 ringgit of its short-term liability. Any company with a quick ratios value amount more than 1 and above appears to have sufficient liquid assets to pay its current debt. So, this can be seen that in 2021, Digi.com Berhad is more able to rely on illiquid assets for its short-term liability.
Next is profitability ratios. It is the effectiveness in generating profit. There are several ratios in profitability ratios. Firstly, net profit margin. Net profit margin is a financial ratio that illustrates connection between financial statement components. This ratio is essential for comparing firms' financial results in the same industry and analyzing performance over time. It is also known that when the ratio is higher, it indicates better income to shareholders. For example, Digi.com Berhad is 7%, Telekom Malaysia Berhad is 18%. Based on the table above, shows that Telekom Malaysia Berhad generates RM7 of net profit from 100,000 sales. On the other hand, Digi.com Berhad generates RM18 of net profit from 100 sales. After all, it shows that Digi.com Berhad has a higher ratio compared to Telekom Malaysia Berhad. Secondly is gross profit margin. Gross profit margin is a calculation that shows the company's business result after paying the direct cost of doing business, which consists of labor, materials, and other direct production costs. At the same time, it explains that the higher ratio shows a higher margin contribution. The gross profit margin for Telekom Malaysia Berhad in 2021 is 26.06% and Digi.com Berhad in 2021 is 48.45%. The gross profit margin shown by Digi.com Berhad in 2021 revealed that the company has a higher margin than Telekom Malaysia Berhad.
Return on asset is a profitability ratio that shows how much profit a firm can make from its assets. In other words, return on asset evaluates how effective a company's management is in generating earnings from its economic resources or balance sheet assets. In return on asset ratio, it indicates that the higher the ratio the firm has, the higher the return on its investment. This can be seen from the table above, and Telekom Malaysia Berhad has a lower ratio, which is 3.85% than Digi.com Berhad, which is 14%. Therefore, it means that Digi.com Berhad has a higher return on the firm's investment. Return on capital employed is a way for companies to measure the extent to which their companies are efficient in using their capital to generate profit. The return on capital employed is typically used as one of the best profit ratios for a company. Investors commonly use it to determine whether a company is suitable or not to invest. For example, the return on capital employed by Telekom Malaysia Berhad is 7.17% in 2021, while the return on capital employed by Digi.com Berhad is 30.8% in 2021. In this context, a higher return on capital employed by Digi.com Berhad is more favorable.
Besides, we will move to efficiency ratio. Efficiency ratio is important in financial management, especially in managing its sources or assets in a company. The inventory turnover ratio function measures the number of the times the average inventory is turned over or sold during a given time. The higher the number of times the company managed to turn or sell its inventory in a year, the better control the company has over its stocks. The inventory turnover for Telekom Malaysia Berhad is 34.21 times, while for Digi.com Berhad it is 0.02 times. It shows that Telekom Malaysia Berhad is better than Digi.com Berhad.
As for the average collection period, it is the time it takes for the company to collect payment from its account receivables. A short collection time promotes the faster collection and better receivable management. In contrast, a more extended collection period may negatively affect the short-term debt-paying ability of the business. The average collection period for Telekom Malaysia Berhad is 65 days and 18 days for Digi.com Berhad. As a result, Telekom Malaysia Berhad took longer to collect its receivables in 2021. This indicates that Digi.com Berhad managed to gather its account receivables more effectively in 2021.
The total asset turnover compares the sales of a company to its asset base. The ratio measures the ability of an organization to efficiently produce sales. It also typically evaluates the operations of a business. The total assets turnover for Telekom Malaysia Berhad is RM50 cents. It means that the company can generate 50 cents of its sales from RM1 of its total assets. Next, the total asset turnover for Digi.com Berhad is RM81 cents. It means that the company can generate 81 cents of its sales from RM1 of its total sales. This proves that Digi.com Berhad is better than Telekom Malaysia Berhad because the sales produced by Digi.com Berhad are higher.
Lastly, fixed asset turnover. The fixed asset turnover shows about effective a corporation is at generating sales from its existing fixed asset. A greater ratio indicates that management is making better use of fixed asset. In 2021, Telekom Malaysia Berhad generated 0.69 sen of its sales from 1 ringgit of its net fixed asset, while Digi.com Berhad generates 0.99 sen. This shows that Digi.com Berhad is better at generating its sales from existing fixed asset compared to Telekom Malaysia Berhad.
The debt ratio to the total assets can be defined as the ratio of the entire long-term and short-term debt. The higher ratio reflects the higher debt to finance assets. For example, the debt of Telekom Malaysia Berhad is recorded at 88% compared to Digi.com Berhad, which is recorded at 10% only. Based off the both companies, it shows that Digi.com Berhad is better than Telekom Malaysia Berhad.
The debt to equity ratio measures the riskiness of a company's financial structure by comparing its total debt to its total equity. The ratio reveals the relative proportions of a business debt and equity financing. For example, the debt to equity ratio from Telekom Malaysia Berhad is 211.56%, while Digi Berhad is 1,138.89%. This proves that Telekom Malaysia Berhad is better than Digi.com Berhad because they have less borrowing from the financial institution as the source of finance and others.
Lastly, time interest earned. Time interest earned shows the ability of the company to make interest payment. For example, based on Telekom Malaysia Berhad, the time interest earned by the company is 2.57 times, while Digi.com Berhad earned 49.60 times. Therefore, it can be concluded that Telekom Malaysia Berhad's time interest has a higher ratio, indicating higher capability and a lower risk of default.
Well, in conclusion, the main purpose of this group project is to implement the financial statement of profit and loss and statement of financial position for Digi.com Berhad and Telekom Malaysia Berhad by performing whether the financial statement analysis is relevant using the accounting ratios where it has determined Digi.com Berhad's managed to show that they have a good performance according to the financial statement analysis in 2021 compared to Telekom Malaysia Berhad based on the accounting ratios of liquidity, efficiency, profit, and leverage. This shows that Digi.com Berhad managed to face the risk of failure because it can be said that their company's management is very efficient in managing their services and products throughout the year. Finally, it can be said that Digi.com Berhad is a company that is not exposed to debt and can pay debts efficiently compared to Telekom Malaysia Berhad.
The company we chose was Digi.com Berhad because we managed to calculate and differentiate all the liquidity, efficiency and leverage with the Telekom Malaysia Berhad that we found suitable for us to work with. We have compared the financial statements of the two companies in 2021 and we prefer to take Digi.com Berhad as we can see it has the potential to be our business based on their financial statements. Based on their liquidity, Digi.com Berhad has a better liquidity ratio than Telekom Malaysia Berhad in 2021 and this indicates that their assets are liquid and can be easily converted to cash and this is difficult to affect market price. In this context, they easily pay off debts because of the liquidity of their current asset. This is even more convincing when the firm is truly able to pay their current obligations and as potential suppliers and as investors, we voluntarily join their company because their company is a very stable company in their financial statements.
In addition, based on their profitability, Digi.com Berhad has a very large profit gap when compared to Telekom Malaysia Berhad. The company's profit should be taken into account as it helps to measure whether the company succeeds or fails in terms of their business and the extent of the company performance and how they manage the future of their company. Given that their profits point to a good and stable performance, we are honored to work with their company as it is likely to have a significant positive impact on our company's financial statement also.
That's all from us. Thank you for listening.
Hopefully everyone can implement the benefits of our presentation in daily life.
Thank you and Assalamualaikum.